Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Yarns with Andy. I've got Janine Van Leeuwen from Inspira. Thank you for making time for being here, Janine, and welcome on take 2 of the podcast.
Yeah, nice to be here, Andy. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am a technical project manager.
Yeah.
I'm a problem solver.
Cool.
I'm a solution maker,
Yeah.
strategic thinker,
Yeah.
and I'm told I get things done.
God damn it. Don't you love that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can you tell us some of the projects that you've been involved in?
Sure. Over the past 2 years, I've been involved with a lot of projects that relate to the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
Specifically schools and capital works projects, but also offsite manufactured buildings being brought onto schools. So those are my key areas of expertise, but I also do work in the infrastructure sphere, so anything civil or roading or building related.
Yeah, cool. Welcome, Janine. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
Janine, you talk a lot about conscious leadership.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
So a conscious leader is someone that works with people to bring the best out of them.
Yep.
But also that starts with bringing the best out of themselves. So they need to turn up and be conscious working with groups of people or with other people.
Yeah. So how would I be a conscious leader if I wanted to be one?
So consciousness or being a conscious leader is has a few key points that I like to reference, and maybe I'll talk to 2 of them. One of them is that you need to have empathy for others, and you need to be able to self-reflect. And the third probably key one is to be vulnerable when you're working with people.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Tell me more.
3 very tricky propositions, because most of us think we need to be strong and we need to show that we're
bold and
authoritative.
So those are the things that come to mind when you say a leader, right?
Yeah, I think they do. But this is an old style of leadership.
Yeah.
And we're moving past that now. We're moving to a place where people can be more open and conscious in their leadership, and it has more, I suppose, it has more depth to it than what we've seen in the past. A leader that's more closed in a sense, that they're driving people and it's more in a masculine way, doesn't really have a place anymore in the world today. We've moved on from that.
I fully agree with you. It's like, so you work quite heavily in the construction industry.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of leadership are you seeing out there that's currently in play?
I think most people have their own personal style of leadership, and it comes.
But do you find a lot of conscious leadership in play? No. Why do you think that is?
I think that people are capable of it.
Yep.
But they just haven't opened that door yet. So they're sitting on the edge of understanding when it feels good, when someone leads them and they feel uplifted, they feel engaged, they feel like they're on board, they know what they're doing and they feel part of a team.
Yeah.
They know what that feels like, but they don't know how to get people to do that necessarily.
Yeah.
So it's there and it's in the industry, and people are now starting to see and understand it. And if we use words like servant leader, they possibly would understand that, because that has some definition around it, or people understand that you lift up your team if you become a servant leader.
So help me understand what a servant leader is. I genuinely don't know what it means.
Okay, so a servant leader is someone that is, from a hierarchical point of view, they're all on the same plane. So their team doesn't have a hierarchy.
Okay.
They're a flat structure,
Yep.
which means that, say, the engineer and the architect and the project manager and the client and potentially all the people they interact with, they have on the same playing field.
Right.
And when you do that, you take out that hierarchical kind of structure. So that's kind of a servant leader in terms of structure. But then in terms of how they deliver information or support their team, they basically serve people. So they go into their team and they say, what do you need? And they make sure that it happens. So they take out roadblocks, they give everyone what they need, and they listen and hear what the team needs of them. So it's not what they need the team to do, it's what the team needs of them, which is very different. It's like a flip.
Yeah, it is.
So that's like stage one of where we've got to. I think a lot of people understand servant leadership. But there's now another level that I feel that we can move to, and that's being a conscious leader.
Right. So being a servant leader is the first step, is clearing all the roadblocks, empowering your team, creating a collaborative environment.
Yes, and a flat structure.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I have noticed a flat structure in a few different organizations that I've been going into, do some work in. It's becoming a lot more common these days, I think.
Yeah, I think people, I mean, we started with capitalism, didn't we? Look back in, the start of the Industrial Revolution, then came through to a capitalist style structure in society. And people were used to the hierarchical ladder. They almost felt disengaged if they didn't know that they could get to the next step and get above somebody else, or be the manager or the CEO, or then the, whatever their advancement, road to advancement was. They needed to understand that, know that, and be engaged with that at all times to feel like they had purpose. But our purpose now has moved on. We're not just thinking about corporate drivers or money or ego or wealth or fame. Those things are sort of sitting at a lower platform in society now.
Yep.
And we're starting to look to see that leaders that are really successful are empathetic, they're persuasive, they're vulnerable. They let us know some of their quirks. We understand them and we love them anyway. We all of a sudden they let us feel connected to them. It's like it's a person that we can understand and feel connected to.
100%.
So
we've moved on from that world where, you know, you literally go, you do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
Kind of as opposed to now we're at a position where we have servant leaders that go, let me clear your roadblocks.
Yeah.
Create an engaging.
It's more connected. It's more connected. So if you want to feel connected in a team and the leader is the most important person, whatever the leader supplies or puts out there or sets up as the structure is what the team will feel.
Yeah.
And even though we don't understand this necessarily, where 80% of our decisions and 80% of our understanding comes from our emotions.
Yeah.
So it's not logic.
Yeah.
It's not logic that we're using, even though we think we might be using logic. We make a logical decision. We look at all the
I always think I'm making a
parameters.
logical decision 100% of the time, mate. Every time.
We do.
But you're right.
And maybe there's some people that do have more logic to their decision making, but most people will feel, and their feeling and their emotions will drive the decision. So in a team, if you have a really flat structure, you have clear boundaries, you have a leader that's delivering with vulnerability, with clear goals and understanding that the team has on board with. They're not being told what to do, they're on board with, they're creating together, then that's more likely to create a feeling within the team that they want to be on board. They want to be
and
there.
in turn delivering better outcomes.
Yeah, because they're driven emotionally to do it. They're invested.
Yeah, invested.
Yeah, and it's like a feeling that comes from here. It doesn't come from up here. It's not I think I want to be. It's I feel I'm involved.
And then you start getting this feeling where you want to be at work as opposed to having to be at work.
Or you want to talk to that person on the phone because they make you feel good.
Interesting.
So if you're a project manager and you say, why don't people pick up the phone when I call? Well, the answer is that you haven't created the relationship with that person yet, that they want to talk to you. So you've got more work to do.
Yeah. Right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So because I know that I'm doing a really good job, not from a egotistical point of view, but I feel inside when I know that I'm doing a great job, when I can just call and people pick up, I can make things happen. It's like it's streamlined, it's easy because I've laid the foundations for the
You're
relationship.
connected to that person.
I've connected with that person and they understand that I'm supporting them to be better. We're not in a race. We're not competing. We're collaborating.
Well, that's the environment we need to bring into construction, don't we? That's what we've got to aim to, because that's not what's happening in our industry today. And having conscious leaders would definitely enable buildings to get built quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate all your thoughts on that, Janine. That was quite insightful.
Thanks, Andy.
So, Janine, you work with a lot of leaders and you help them become better conscious leaders. So I have a problem that I need help with. I was wondering if you'd help coach me on camera.
Sure. Okay,
Yes.
let's do it.
Look at that smile on her face. I love it. Okay. So I've done this podcast. I've recorded, I think, 47 episodes. Yeah. Times 5 segments every single time. So that's 47 times 5. And I have a problem ending a segment.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do I end the segment, right? So I've always had problems doing it. I struggle. It stresses me out, like causes me like insane amounts of stress. I do everything else well. Just can't fucking end it.
Okay, so what's happening is in your mind, you're telling yourself that you can't do a good job of that. Is that right? Before you get to it? Like what's happening in your mind? What's the
what's
message?
happening in my mind? Right. Okay. I'm more internalizing that I've got to end better. I've got to end better. I'm not telling myself that I can't do it. I never tell myself that I can't do anything.
Okay. So you
Never a part of my DNA that I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Fuck no, I can do anything I want to. I believe that. I 100% believe that.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Okay,
do-
so
I can-
you have totally pre-primed that you can do what you in the moment,
Yeah.
you can do what you need to do, but this is just one little bit that's missing that same. Did you feel that like force and energy of when you said, fuck yeah, I can do that. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
Well, we just need to get that energy and put it over the endings of when you're going to close out on a topic within the podcast. We need to get that same energy and put it there.
Okay.
Okay.
How do I do that?
So what it's called is like intention is really powerful.
Right.
And when you're working with people, if you can set an intention or a purpose, even as the leader, but even within the team or individually, it has movement with it, has strength with it. If we just sort of just glide around, and it's not a bad thing. It's called reactive if you just react. But in this case, we want to be responsive. We want to pre-prime it. We want to set an intention. So in the mind, if you set an intention, it's really powerful because the mind doesn't really know the difference between good and bad. All it does is it follows the rule that you've set in your mind. So if you've said to yourself, I need to end, I need to end, I need to end, it's like your mind hasn't had that chance to prime it positively and to prime it with that really good energy that you just had before.
Right.
So if we get some energy and pre-prime, then you're going to see a difference in how your body and your mind reacts when you go to close off the podcast.
Right. So how would hypothetically, I want to try and wrap this up and end this conversation.
Yeah.
What would I do?
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll choose a word that would increase your performance at the end of doing the closeout. So what we're going to say to you is, Andy, what do you want to close out with? Do you want it to be efficient? Do you want it to be relaxed? Do you want it to be free flowing? Like, what's the word that you'd use that you want to feel when you get to the end of closing out with someone?
I want it to be not awkward. Does that help?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the opposite of not awkward?
You can say free flowing.
Free flowing. Does that word work for you?
Unobstructive.
Okay.
So I know I'm using a lot of negative terminology and you're trying to get me to use positive terminology. I'm working on it.
Even talking about it.
No. Here's my word.
Okay.
Smooth.
Smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel that
Yes.
the energy of that's way better
Yep.
than unobstructive, right?
Yep. Smooth.
Okay, we're going to
Yeah.
do a smooth ending.
Yep. There we go.
So we're going.
Smooth.
Okay, so what you do is you've got your word.
Yep.
We close our eyes, and we imagine talking, and you're coming to the end, and you've been given a signal that you've got 2 minutes, and you know you need to close it out. And you're going to put that word smooth across the top of the whole segment in your mind. And you're going to feel the strength of that word infiltrating your podcast. And then we're going to open our eyes. So what you've done is you've pre-primed it.
Okay.
It's not woo-woo stuff. All you're doing is programming your mind
Okay.
to perform.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've just been given a signal. Funny the timing of that,
Yeah.
Ollie's doing a great job giving me signals at the perfect fucking time. I love that. Straight as soon as we open our eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I now wanted to wrap the segment up and go, right? Janine, that was great portrayal of your leadership skills. Oh fuck, I fucked that up. That was anything but smooth.
Okay.
Okay.
Have another go.
Have another go?
Just ground your feet
Yeah. Okay.
and breathe in the smooth. Yeah, that's better. Okay, do it now. You can do it now.
Janine, that was an intriguing experience for me personally. This is not something I've ever done before, to sit down and be coached on live camera. That was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like amazing. You just like the words are just flowing now. It's easy. I can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can coach me on live camera and I can end this conversation really well, I guarantee you other leaders can benefit from what you can teach them and the skills that you can teach them. So for anybody out there that wants great leadership skills, please give Janine a call.
Yeah, come and see me and we can play with it. It's fun. Like it's fun. This is fun stuff.
Yeah.
We want it to be easy and we want it to be fun and joyful.
That's it. Now tell me that fucking ending was smooth.
That was way better.
Okay. I'm getting there.
So
slowly. So but I did the whole smooth thing and I got your sales pitch too in there.
Yeah, you
Perfect.
did. Yeah. Did you
I can do better? You reckon I can do better?
That was really good. I think if you're starting to get that feeling that you're not, it's not working for you, just ground your feet. Just remember to ground yourself. Come back into your body. You're present in this body.
Yeah.
You know, when we're searching for words and we're not fluent, it's because we're not present. We're not here in our bodies. So you've got to like just drop back into your body, which is really easy because you just feel your feet on the floor and you're back.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because we're really good at going into our head.
Yeah, and
that kind of sends us into all sorts of spaces, but which is really important stuff. We need to use our mind. We need to be good at using our mind, but we also need to be present with people because that's when things flow. And you saw that became really smooth for you when you became
100%.
present.
That was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I reckon I can still do better. We'll see. We'll
Okay,
progress.
let's do the next one.
Yeah, we'll jump on to the next segment and see how I perform.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, Andy. I thought today I would lead one segment with you.
Go for gold.
So I think it would be really
Yarns
awesome.
with Janine, right here. Call me.
Yeah. I thought it would be really awesome to talk about persuasion.
Right.
Because some people feel that the word persuasion might have a negative connotation. But to me, it doesn't have a connotation that's negative. Persuasion is a really important tool when you're negotiating with people or you're creating and collaborating. Because when you're working with people and you can see the win-win solution ahead of you, then if you can see the pathway to getting people there, persuasion is a positive thing because you're not manipulating, you're moving people to a common ground and a common win-win solution.
Okay, what's the difference between persuasion and influence?
Influence and persuasion are probably quite similar.
Yep.
If you're influencing someone, you're probably laying the groundwork for a pre-considered outcome.
Predetermined notion, predetermined outcome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you would possibly have someone's intention behind influencing. Whereas persuasion is more open. It's more that you're trying to get maybe a whole lot of people to move together or work together. You're persuading them in a way that supports them. So there's a slight difference there. There might be a behind the scenes intention to influencing.
But there's always going to be a behind the scenes notion to persuade people as well in a particular direction, because you have to send them in a direction.
That's what leaders have to do.
Yeah.
We have to decide. We have to see into the future. We have to have a vision. And if we have a vision that's really positive about a project, like one of my visions, I'll give you an example. One of my visions was I was working on a school.
Yep.
And I had this vision of these children that no longer had a place to be in their existing school. So they were sitting in the library, some of them were sitting in the hallway, and they were learning in spaces that were not classrooms.
Yep.
And we knew that there was about 100 kids that by the end of the year would be in that situation if we didn't get the school built. So every time I talked to people and we hit a roadblock, sometimes it was Auckland Transport, sometimes it was the council, sometimes it was a consultant that was working on ecology of the wetland that the school was on. They're just looking with their small vision of what they know and understand. So if you can open them up to a bigger vision, I would say to them, hey, can you imagine that your child next year wouldn't be able to go to school because they wouldn't have anywhere to sit in a classroom? So we're building the school. We need to open, because imagine if that was your child and they didn't have a classroom. And let's create a classroom for all these kids, these 100 kids, that they're going to be standing on the side of the road next year and they're not going to have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people could connect. They could connect with being a child at school, the excitement of going to a classroom, having their own teacher, having their own space.
Not a silly protocol or the library.
Yeah, and imagining, and I'd say to them, imagine the playground, imagine coming here and your first day and you see all these exciting things that you want to play on, but we haven't got it ready. So, that all of a sudden you could see people's lights going on. They were like, wow, yeah, okay, I can buy into that vision. I can be persuaded to get that document done over the weekend, to work long hours, to deliver,
do whatever you have to
give
deliver.
up on whatever I needed to give up on, because there's 100 kids that need a school.
Yep.
And we get really excited about this.
Fair. Okay. That works really well in a school setting. Yeah. Agree?
Yeah.
Now let's take a commercial 50-story apartment in town.
Yeah.
Okay. Where it's a business. Yep. That's all it is. It's only a business, right? So somebody wants to develop that land, build I don't know, 50 stories of apartments and get it sold to make a buck.
Yep.
How do you then help people buy into a vision in that space?
I think there always has to have, like, for it to be successful, there has to be a leader with a vision.
Fair.
So in that case, I'd get the client to create a vision.
Yeah, okay.
Because the client must have bought that piece of land because they could imagine people having their Sunday coffee, sitting in their apartment, reading their paper, looking out over the view, having a relaxed retirement, having their grandchildren come round to visit. It's easy to come up, like they've got a lift for people that are disabled or whatever it is, or maybe they just, they might be getting older and they need more accessibility. And that vision can be enough that it's an ease for people, or maybe all the people that are buying those properties are ending their life or coming to their golden years, not ending their life, their golden years. And they want to enjoy looking at the view and they want to enjoy sitting there with their coffee, and people can connect with that too.
Okay, so that's great. Now say the clients now develop that vision. How do I get the chippy who's on site to buy into that vision. He doesn't care.
Yeah, no, the Chippy is quite removed, isn't he, in that
Yeah,
situation?
he's like what, 4 removed, 5 removed?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah, definitely.
so 5 removed from that vision, and that vision doesn't always translate.
No.
Yeah. Because the
Yeah.
chippy on site would probably go, oh yeah, fuck another job, mate. I'm back on the tools. Get in here. Where's my next job tomorrow? You know?
Yeah.
Gets the job done. Gaps it.
Yeah. I think you'll find everyone has a greater sense of wanting to commit to something that has a vision. So if you've if you've got too many layers between that vision and say your sub-trades on site,
Yeah.
then that sub-trade might just want to have a greater profile with the main contractor. They might want to create a better relationship with the main contractor.
Yeah.
They might want to be seen for their performance. They might just want the project manager to come along and say, wow, you floated that concrete really nicely. I've never seen someone float it so nicely. And you did it in 24 hours, you know? You did it to the program.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
Yeah.
So as a project manager, you've got to shift your vision because the vision might not be right for one person, and you need to see
Or for a group of people.
what someone, and not in a way that's false. It has to be authentic. You have to genuinely appreciate that person for the fact they've finished that float work. You have to genuinely feel that they've done a good job. You can't be false.
Yeah.
But everybody has goodness in what they do somewhere. Some people will be really efficient. Some people will be really nice to have on site. They just...
And this is where the power of persuasion comes in as a leader, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you're looking for their goodness.
Yeah.
You're looking to affirm their goodness. You're looking to lift that person and say, wow, mate, when you did that, that was really awesome. Hey, you know, next weekend, we've got to work long hours. We've got to deliver. Would you be able to do a Saturday? I really need you because you're the best floater. I need you to turn up and do the concrete pad for that level 2 or level 3 or whatever's happening. Or, you know, you've got your landscaper, you know, and you talk to them directly. Like if you take out the layers and direct your attention to people and actually be authentic and present with them, then they'll feel appreciated, and that's what you want.
So lessons we learn from there is how do you be a more present leader, a conscious leader, and have the power of persuasion and deliver a vision so people buy into the vision.
Yeah. Well,
sounds simple, doesn't it?
Yeah. Most people I found when they call me or I call them need one of 3 things. It's the 3 H's.
Oh, yeah.
They need to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be hugged.
Yeah.
Or they need to be heard.
Interesting.
And when you're a leader, you're listening for, and hug's not like give me a hug.
Not physically.
Hug's like affirming them, affirming they're going in the right direction. And being heard, some people just need to be heard. You're not going to gain anything from that conversation at all. But that person is. And then remember how we talked about that feeling? Like when people feel good emotionally when they're with you, then they want to keep being with you and they want to keep being on that project and they want to keep performing because they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And if you can help someone in a phone call, it's not about you. You're there to serve. If you're a project manager, you're there to serve. You're there to serve the client. You're there to serve the team. You're there to get things done. And through getting people connected to you and feeling like they're being appreciated, you're going to get outcomes.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're going to want to be there.
That's it, eh? So how do we get now? We need to now try and get more people in the construction industry to adapt and adopt just what you said right there.
Yeah. We need lots of people, lots of leaders to adopt.
That's it.
New ideas.
That's it.
Like we are evolving.
Mm-hmm.
We are humans, and every year we only have to be 1% better.
Yep. And make incremental improvements from there.
Yeah. So if we are 1% better, then we are better than the year before.
Yep.
And
That's what I keep telling myself all the time.
evolution.
Yeah,
that's evolution.
Yeah.
So if someone's listening today, they could take on board one of those little tips and they'll be better. And if we can talk to more and more and more leaders, then we're going to lift the game.
I'm confident we'll get there, Janine.
Yeah, we're going to lift communication and construction.
Yeah.
And if we do that, we're going to see improvements across the board with all of the indicators for construction. We're going to see better projects. We're going to see more cost benefits for the client and cost control. We're going to see people meeting program targets.
Yeah.
And we're going to see better quality. But we're also going to see, and the greatest thing that we're going to see is more value. And that's going to be like wider than just the project. It's going to be for the whole team, for all the people. Everyone's going to feel that there's value. Not just what we produce. It has a ripple effect.
Janine, I absolutely love that vision. Let's talk about how we can make that happen. Shall we?
Yeah, like it.
Janine, from your experience, what are some of the unique challenges that women leaders in the construction industry face?
I think for women, it depends how you see yourself. For me personally, I don't see gender as being a barrier, but there is a natural inclination for people to choose males over females in the construction industry.
What do you
Still
think that
present.
is? Is it because of the risk factor?
I think it's historical.
Is it historical?
Yeah, I think it's historical. I don't
Or
think
does
it's
it have anything to do with the risk factor? Men are more prone to take more risks than women?
I think it's because of the availability, so there'll always be more men that will step up for a role.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's historical knowledge as well. Like people think, oh, well, men know about construction, so it's kind of pre-primed into their thought processes. Maybe women don't feel they know about construction.
Yeah, it's tradesmen, it's not tradeswomen, is it?
Yeah, so they have...
It's not. I mean, I think that's changing, tradesperson as opposed to tradesman.
Well, the best tradespeople...
Person.
best tradespeople I've seen recently.
Yeah, a woman.
A woman.
Yeah, no argument from me.
I've seen some amazing women.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll actually call them out because some of them are really good. I was working with Modern Environments. They have a female landscaper.
Oh, yeah?
And she's also a carpenter.
You know?
She's amazing.
Do you want to give her a shout out?
Well, I think she might not want to be identified.
Fair enough.
But she knows who she is.
Yeah, cool.
But it's these little opportunities that women get that make the difference. So it's only one person that needs to open the door for women, and then all of a sudden that company will have a couple of women in it, and they'll be tradespeople of some description. There might be.
See what you did there? You had
I
to say
had
trades,
to think
and
about
you had to pause and say people.
Yeah, I do.
That's a pre-priming, isn't it? That's what you keep talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And if there's a couple of women there, or even just one, then that opens the doors for more, because once there's one woman, then they've kind of opened the doors to opportunity, and they're like the leader.
It's like establishing that base and showing people that it's
possible. Yeah. We talked about this.
We did. At some point, I just can't remember when.
The one thing that helped me in my life was understanding that most men wing it.
It's not fucking true.
They have no fucking idea what they're talking about. But
they figure it out as they go.
But
I
they back themselves.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
It's fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
They're the kings at it.
Funny, I was talking to somebody else about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought if I could just take that one little masculine kind of gem and apply that, then maybe, that would help me.
Has it helped you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. There's times when I say to myself, Janine, just fake it till you make it. You've got this.
Actually, you're right. We did bring a sales pitch together as well, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, Andy and I were doing a sales pitch. We had to fake it till we made it.
Live example of that.
Yeah.
Janine calls me. This is for all the listeners. Janine calls me and says, do you want to give these guys a sales pitch? I won't say the name of the company, but do you want to give these guys I'm like, fuck yeah. I want to get these guys a sales pitch together. We pitch our offering together. Next day, we're sitting down and actually giving them a whole sales pitch, aren't we?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. We underestimate our capabilities when we're
Women?
female. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
We have this
Because you don't have the confidence, or
I
what
think
is
it's
it?
just this little kind of, this is like a stopper.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a little mental kind of sentence that comes into our mind that says, oh, you're not good enough, or, you know, can you do it? Something like that. So it's kind of like this really annoying little female person just in your mind going, oh, I don't know if you've got this. The boys will know more than you. Are you sure you've got it? And if we can get past that, then there's just so many opportunities that are open for you. And some places do support that, like Narwick is the woman in construction.
So it was a National Association of Women in Construction?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
So when I was gaining my confidence, I went to some Narwick events and I walked around and I listened, like where they did, like a construction manager showed all of these women a project, and we were shown through a partially complete building, and the construction manager talked to the different components that were in construction, what was happening, and basically a snapshot in time and what was happening with the program and the complexities they were facing. And it just opened me up to the fact that it wasn't that hard.
Yeah. No.
I didn't need to be worried. Like nobody knows everything about every project. If you're a woman and you want to step up, every single project is different. You're not going to know all of the answers when you start on the project. Like I never know all the answers when I start on a project.
Nobody does.
I reckon I know about 10%.
That's
I'm going to be really
more, right?
honest. I'm going to be really vulnerable here and really honest. I reckon I know about 10% of what's possibly going to be rolled out. But the other 90, I know in my gut that I can figure it out.
100%. The more drawings you read, the more people you talk to, you get
there's
different
experts
perspectives.
out there. They're going to tell me information.
Yep.
And all I am is an information gatherer.
Yep. You're a sponge that just sucks everything in.
I'm a filter. I just need to get it, filter it, know whether it's relevant or not relevant, and
pass the right information to the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
Help them make good data-driven decisions.
Yeah.
See?
And
that's why you need a good planner, Janine. I know a guy.
I do actually.
We'll
get to that. We'll get
smoothly slid it in there.
Yeah.
I pre-primed that too.
Yeah, that was a very masculine sales pitch.
Oh,
a woman would have been way more subtle.
Oh yeah? Fuck. I just threw it out there.
Oh, that's good. I like it. So yeah, I think there's organisations that are opening opportunities for women, and these organisations are really important because if we just get one woman in the door, then it's like that opens the gates for like another 6 and another 10. And there's really awesome organisations out there. I'll speak to one, Dempsey Wood. I've seen them employ significant amounts of technical engineers on their sites.
Yeah.
And they're women.
Can I
They're
ask you a
wonderful.
question? Can I ask you a
Wonderful
question?
women.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you think is more important? Having a woman fill a position or having the right person to fill a position?
I think you never want to be the token woman selected because of your gender.
Yep.
You
I'd
want
get that.
You want to be selected because you're
I'd
good.
hate to be the token Indian hired too.
we
Indian Kiwi
don't,
hired.
do we? No.
I'd hate to be that person. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all.
But back to my question though. What do you think is more important?
It's the right person doing the right job at the right time.
I agree. Yep. And how should it matter whether you're male, female? It's the skill set. There's a vacant position.
Yeah.
And you have a skill set to fill that position.
Yeah.
Shouldn't matter who you are, should it?
No. Some people won't step up though in certain like diverse gender or cultural or the different backgrounds because they're not primed like white European people to put themselves forward, to talk about themselves. So they'll naturally sit back a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's possibly where you don't see there's much diversity in certain industries like construction, because that those types of people don't naturally step forward. But if you're a good leader, you can see potential in people and you can pick the right person to do the right job at the right time. You've just got to be intuitive to who really could step up. And often that could be somebody from a diverse background, whether gender, race, it doesn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
We're all equal at the end.
You know,
we're all equal.
You know what? You cut me, I bleed red. What color do you bleed?
Exactly. So, to me, I love being in Auckland because there's so much diversity.
It is. This is awesome. It's
fantastic.
And it's having all of those different thought processes come in to help with critical problem solving and decision making, which is great.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, diversity. My only point here being diversity for the sake of diversity is a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, I think you've
So
got
you
it's got to be
don't
authentic.
do it for social media.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of that. I'm sure you do too in the industry. You see a lot of that doing it for social media and portraying yourself as a particular organization.
Yeah.
Because we want to be a diverse organization.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that.
Yeah, well, the government
do it for a real purpose.
Yeah, and we do have like probity rules or around, and also broader outcomes that we're trying to reach within government style contracts or tenders or things like that. So you are talking to those kind of areas when you're responding to a bid, for instance. But if there's a falseness to what you're saying, it's really easy to pick it up.
Yeah.
You can tell a company that's authentic.
Yeah.
That genuinely has diversity and genuinely supports all of their people, whether they're female, male, whatever gender they are.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Real interesting. I know this is quite a touchy subject, so I reckon we'll probably drop that there for now. But that's some cool things to pick up on diversity and women in construction, and I really do hope more women listen to this and are not afraid to step into the construction world.
Yeah, just remember, fake it till you make it.
There you go. You heard it from Janine first. All right, Janine, tell us about empathy and leadership. Go on. Floor's yours.
So empathy is one of those words that I think some people may view as that we have to feel other people's feelings as a leader, or we have to give to others more than potentially we have in the tank. So it's a bit of a loaded word. It's like, oh, I need to be empathetic with that staff member because this, and this has happened to them. And it's sort of, do you hear that? It's kind of, it's a bit heavy. So
yeah. So I was trying to explain empathy to my son, my 6-year-old son.
What did you say, Andy?
Fuck, it's a lot more difficult than you think, eh? So the way I explain empathy to him, I said, try putting yourself in the other person's shoe. And he goes, do I go put on the shoe? No, buddy. They're fucking awesome though. Yeah, I love these things. I love kids, eh? They're amazing, right? And I said, no. So try feeling what the other person's feeling.
Yeah.
If you were that person, how would you react to what you said?
Yeah, that's great.
And he said, I won't feel nice about it. Then I'm like, right, okay. So now next time, can you think about that before you say something?
Yeah.
And he goes, I can try that. Yeah. So it's quite interesting. You learn a lot from when you're trying to explain things to children. Like I learn a lot when I'm trying to explain things to children.
Because you have to break it down into like really small bits that people can understand.
Yeah.
And there's actually a famous orator called Cicero. He's a Roman orator. And he had a really clear message that he shared about empathy. And that was that you must think my thoughts, feel my feelings, and speak my words to persuade me and to feel what I'm feeling. So, in other words, if we can't step into the other person's shoes and think their thoughts and actually feel their feelings, and speak their words, we're not on board with them. We're not on
I
their
fully agree.
page.
You know that famous
Yeah.
saying that goes, when somebody's coming to your house, you treat them the way you want to be treated. I fucking hate that saying. Well, the way I want to be treated is maybe not the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
you're coming to my house for lunch, I'd rather treat you the way you want to be treated rather than the way I'd want to be treated myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Like,
And that's empathy right there, though, isn't it?
yeah, it's
Summed up.
I love this Aboriginal tale that I read about a couple of weeks ago, and they said that with Aboriginal tribes, how they teach them empathy is they draw a circle on the ground, and one person stands on one side and one stands on the other, and when they get angry with each other, they talk to each other from either sides of the circle, and then what the chief does, or the key person that's trying to solve the problem, he asks them to switch sides and to speak from the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they resolve it. And they have to
crazy.
keep switching until they've resolved it. And
Right.
basically, that is how they learn to step into the other person's shoes and hear what they hear, think what they think, feel what they feel. And that's when you're having true empathy, is you can genuinely feel what the person needs at that time.
Yeah. That's such a great analogy and it's such a great exercise. Maybe I should try that one day. I should try that
give
with
it
my
a
kids.
go.
You know?
Yeah,
Give it a go.
I thought about doing it in a project team and making
yeah.
this. It's like, okay, you two are fighting.
Yep.
Right, we're going to draw a circle.
and you both switch.
And I think people would feel like it was
Yeah.
school. So,
Yeah. Anyways, Janine, I think we're out of time. So thank you so much for your time here, for all your valuable insights on conscious leadership, coaching me, that
no
was
worries.
great.
Yeah.
Great sessions on women and leadership. Appreciate all of it and great thoughts on empathy, Any final words?
Andy, just keep doing what you're doing, mate.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
awesome.
No.
I really enjoyed being here and
Yeah.
genuinely enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, awesome, Janine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.